Welcome back to The Explainer. So glad you're here because today, we are diving into something completely wild. We're unpacking the source material behind what has to be one of the most imaginative, totally boundary-pushing projects in modern music right now. If you've been scrolling social media or reading the latest drops, you've probably caught wind of this duo. They're literally blending earth-shattering, heavy trap beats with straight-up Saturday morning cartoon absurdity. I'm talking, of course, about the cinematic universe being built by the incredible duo Tef x Bella.
Okay, let's dive into this. Seriously, what actually happens when you mix heavy trap beats with Looney Tunes physics, right? Like most artists would treat heavy street cadences in comedy as totally separate lanes. But Tef x Bella? No way! They just smash them together into this completely new fictional reality. It creates this totally surreal audio experience. One second, you're headbanging into these hyper-compressed 808s, and the very next, you're literally laughing out loud at this bizarre, cartoonish lyrical imagery.
Just listen to this viral TikTok comment, because it hits the nail right on the head for the fan experience. Bro really hit the cops with the Looney Tunes physics, not the officer spinning like a Beyblade. That immediately sets the comedic tone, right? You can just picture it. Fans aren't just listening to the music here, they're actively visualizing these incredibly vivid, wildly imaginative stories playing out like an animated sitcom right in their heads.
Section 1. Meet Tef and Bella. From the trenches to the vision.
Now, before we get completely lost in the laugh tracks and the fictional paranoia, we really need to introduce the masterminds behind all this. Teflon, John, and Bella. You know, they aren't just playing around here. There is a deeply grounded reality fueling all this high-flying creativity. And that reality? It starts with the number 905. It's not just an area code. The 905 code is their hometown identity. We're talking about Hamilton, Ontario, also known as the Steel City. It's a place totally known for its grit, hard work, and heavy industrial roots. By completely owning and branding themselves with the 905, Tef x Bella ensure that no matter how absolutely wild their fictional universe gets, it's always anchored back to their local community.
You can see this perfectly summarized in a powerful quote straight from their YouTube channel. "The trenches made us. The vision changed us." I just love that. It perfectly grounds this cartoonish, out-of-this-world universe right back into those gritty roots. They're totally acknowledging the hardship of where they come from, sure, but they're focusing entirely on the evolution, the vision, the boss moves it took to transcend all of it.
Moving on to Section 2, The Legend of Teflon. Keeping up with the surveillance squad.
Okay, let's put on our serious, true crime documentary hats for a second to analyze this breakout hit storyline, Keeping Up Teflon. In this kind of recurring lyrical sitcom, our protagonist, Teflon John, is being relentlessly and hilariously tracked by the world's most incompetent surveillance squad. I mean, the detective work here is a literal masterclass in failure. We've got one officer trying to hide in a mailbox, but the guy is built like a fridge, so he just gets totally stuck. Then there's another one wearing camouflage, but it's bright neon orange camouflage in a gray brick town. And my absolute personal favorite, an agent trying to tail Teflon on rocket-powered roller skates, shooting past him so fast he leaves a literal cartoon smoke trail. It's just brilliant visual storytelling.
Now, what's really interesting here is the legendary Tim Hortons anecdote. It just perfectly captures the whole vibe. Teflon raps about the squad trailing him to a coffee shop. One of the cops slips on a donut and literally spins like a Beyblade, knocking over his entire unit. And the fictional police report notes, "Subject caused rotation, suspicious." To which Teflon just deadpans back, "Relax, detective, it's pastry friction." I mean, come on, that is incredible writing.
The absurd universe just keeps expanding, too. These detectives, they use dollar store disguises with fake squirrel tail mustaches that keep falling off. They try to track Teflon's footprints in the snow, only to realize 3 hours later they've been following a squirrel the whole time. They deploy a surveillance drone shaped like a pigeon, but end up crashing it into a billboard that literally says, "Stop wasting your time." And we can't forget the elite task force getting stuck in a children's bouncy castle. The lyrics call it a full tactical hassle. But hey, despite all this massive effort, the constant surveillance, the endless burning of the police budget, do you know how much evidence they've actually managed to collect on Teflon? Zero. Exactly zero proof. He's been raided twice, and they always come up empty. As he puts it, empty like a vending machine jam. And that is exactly why he's the legend. Like he says on the track, "I'm Teflon, slip past them like a greased-up cartoon swan." He just effortlessly dodges the squad. In fact, he gets so bored with them at one point, he literally leads them through a drive-thru, orders 20 chicken nuggets, and asks the cops hiding in the bushes if they want some sauce with that. He knows they're watching, and he's basically become their unpaid Saturday morning entertainment.
Section 3. Building the hypnotrap sound. The contrast of comedy and cold cadence.
Now, underneath all these fantastic jokes, we really have to remember something crucial. Tef x Bella are serious, boundary-pushing artists. The lyrics might sound like a comedy show, but the sound architecture holding it all together? That is no joke. And this brilliantly illustrates the contrast that makes them go viral. On one hand, you have the sitcom storytelling, the Looney Tunes comedy, the fictional paranoias, literal laugh tracks embedded right into the songs. But then, on the other hand, you have the heavy production, earth-shattering, hyper-compressed 808s, Teflon's incredibly cold, serious street cadence, and Bella's undeniable ethereal goddess vocals just slicing right through the mix. It's a juxtaposition that honestly shouldn't work on paper, but it absolutely does. In fact, they've completely pioneered their own lane, defining a brand new subgenre they call hypno-trap. It's this mesmerizing blend of extreme heavy trap beats, cold street cadences, and those deeply immersive, ethereal vocals from Bella. You can hear this push to the absolute extreme on tracks like the Atlantis Tremor super mix of their song Her Crown. That one feels less like a rap song and more like some sort of cinematic ascension. You really have to turn the bass to the absolute maximum to truly feel the massive world they're building here.
Section 4. The 905 Code Movement. Rebuilding the local scene.
When we look at the real-world cultural impact of their music, it becomes super clear that Tef x Bella aren't just dropping funny tracks, they are actively galvanizing their local community through transmedia world-building. They so proudly carry the torch for their city. Through the music, the visuals, their whole online presence, they're pushing a massive message of empowerment. As they say, the evolution of the 905, we rebuilt the system from the bottom floor up. They're literally creating a transmedia world, a space spanning music, YouTube visualizers, TikTok trends, where fans from Hamilton and beyond can actually participate in and claim as their own.
So the crucial point is really how they activate that audience. They launched the Hidden Spark Challenge. It's a viral digital trend acting as a huge call to action for their followers. The challenge encourages fans to use Tef x Bella's audio templates to show off their own glitch, their personal glow-ups, their transformations, those real-life boss moves. It takes that theme of evolution straight out of their lyrics and turns it into a real-world digital movement.
Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. Tef x Bella used their imagination to build an entire cinematic universe right out of the Steel City, proving once and for all that the trenches make you, but the vision changes you. They didn't see the vision until the glitch. So the question is, looking at your own life, your own goals, are you ready to show your evolution? Think about that as you go check out the Tooniverse for yourself. Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer today, and keep learning.